Hello everybody, welcome to Wine World TV, the best wine show anywhere. I'm your host, Mark Fusco. Before we get started, make sure you're smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel. Every like and subscription helps build the channel. Even better, spread the word to your friends about, well, the best wine show anywhere. Duh. Anyway, today I'm delving into my backlog of free samples for 2023. That means I'm free to review it however I wish. Today's wine is a 2021 Bodegas Salentein Pyros Appellation Chardonnay. This wine is a new brand from Bodegas Salentein. While the website has a lot of info, there isn't any history, like when was it founded, who founded it, things like that, you know the who, what, where, when, why. We do get a page dedicated to their current winemaker, Jose Galante. He worked for Catena Zapata for 34 years as their winemaker, so he's got some incredible cred for that, and he joined Salentein in 2010. I can also tell you the winery existed at the end of 2003 when looking at older Google Earth Pro images. They have a vineyards page with very little useful info, and there's a page that is called RSE that does have some cool things they do concerning the environment, helping the community sustainability, and their art gallery, Kilka. They also have a chapel and a restaurant on site. In addition to that, in another part of their very large property, they have a posada, essentially a small hotel or B&B you can stay at. So that's kind of cool. The property, from what I can tell, and from their website, is massive. 5,000 acres in total with 2,000 acres under vine, but that seems to be two properties. 1,000 acres, from what I can tell, is their main property. Not sure if the other 4,000 acres are also theirs elsewhere, or both. That are also there are theirs. Anyway, I can't tell the other 4,000 acres are theirs. Like most of Argentina, these are high altitude vineyards at around 3,500 to 4,300 feet in elevation. And the Andes Mountains creates a massive rain shadow yielding less than 10 inches of rainfall per year. Officially a desert, they rely on snowmelt and aquifers for their water needs. All this allows them, in pretty much really any winery in Mendoza at least, the ability to use very little to no pesticides in the vineyard. They have several wines they make, but this one in particular is not on their website. Like I mentioned earlier, this is brand new coming from the Valle de Pedernal in the San Juan Province, just north of the Mendoza province. Their website is still under construction. Luckily, I do have a tech sheet and a presser about the winemaker for this brand, so let's dive into that. Paula Gonzalez is the winemaker. She started in 2019 and then took over winemaking operations in 2020. She's worked for a few other wineries since graduating from the Universidad Juan Agustin Maza in Mendoza. She talks about continuing the efforts of the winemaking team, so that implies the wine has been around longer than since 2019 maybe? And that's really about it. We have a mention of Paul Hobbs being a consultant. He's a very well-known winemaker out of Sonoma and Napa. I interviewed his cross-barn winemaker, Greg Ermini, when I visited the area at the end of 2014. I'll leave a link to that interview. We also finally get the name of the founder of Bodegas Salentein, is Meindert Pon. And this is where the press release ends. So who was Meindert? He comes from a very prominent family in Holland. They own the 5th largest bicycle company in the world. Bikes are huge in Holland. Just ask like their thing about them and the Germans and stealing bikes. It was founded in 1980. The company now has 3 main parts: automotive, pawn bike, and equipment. Pawn bike and equipment and power systems. So automotive, pawn bike and equipment, and power systems. Those are the 3. And they are global and still family owned. Meindert was a member of this family, and in the 1990s he moved to Argentina, starting a livestock and cereals enterprise called Salentein Farming. In 1995, he visits Mendoza and purchases land to plant vineyards. He was encouraged to do this by his close contacts in the country. 3 years later, the winery is built. Meindert died in 2014 at the age of 82, and his daughter, Frederik Pohn, took over along with her siblings. They also have an estate back in Holland called Salentein, hence the name. It's a restaurant and special event facility. Now, as far as if the winery operations are part of the global Pohn family, I don't know. It appears that Meindert ventured out on his own. The article I got this from also mentions another winery, coincidentally enough, in San Juan called Calia. Back to the wine. It comes from the Pedernal Valley, located in the San Juan Province, just reminding you. This area isn't as well known for wine, and it's probably the first time I've had a wine from this valley. Like, I had to look it up to see where it was, honestly. Possibly even from the greater San Juan area. We are at a higher elevation than the Mendoza property at 4,600 feet. And like Mendoza, it is in this Andes rain shadow. And the grapes come from various vineyards in the valley. We are at a higher elevation than the Mendoza property at 4,600 feet. And like Mendoza, it is in the Andes rain shadow. And the grapes come from various vineyards in the valley. There aren't that many to choose from either. On the surface, these seem like a style of Chardonnay. On the surface, this seems like a style of Chardonnay that I'll like. Mostly stainless steel with 20% French oak. The reason why I say there's not a lot out there when looking at Google Earth Pro, there aren't many vineyards out there in San Juan. Okay, so that should connect all the dots. Let's get the stats for this wine. The 2021 Bodegas Salentein Pyros Appellation Chardonnay. Suggested retail price, $26.99. From Argentina, from San Juan IG, Sarmiento District IG, Valle de Pedernal IG. 100% Chardonnay, vineyards sourced, just says sourced, elevation 4,600 feet, hand harvested in March. It is destemmed. Fermentation is 21 days and 80% stainless steel, 20% French oak barrels. Native and non-native yeasts are used. Batonnage is used, which is stirring of the lees. And malolactic fermentation is 20%. So it didn't go through full mallow. Aging 6 months, 80% stainless steel, 20% barrique in 1, 2, 3, and 4th use. Additional 3 months in bottle aging. ABV 13%, pH is 3.3, TA 6.95 grams per liter, and the RS is 3 grams per liter. Let's get into the wine. Woo-wee. Okay. This sounds like really interesting. I'm kind of stoked to try this one. There we go. You know what's cool about my job here? I don't make money yet. This is not really my job. It's just getting like these free samples. Not because they're free samples. I mean, of course, that's cool. But like stuff that you would never, ever encounter. Like just like cool stuff. Like this wine, probably pretty cool. I know it's Chardonnay. Pretty cool. But like, you know, the Susanna Balbo wine. Like how cool is that wine? Woo. That didn't want to come out. All right. Bam. All right, so this is a little bit lighter yellow color than some of the other Chardonnays I've done today that you've already seen those episodes. So it's more of a very much light yellow. There's a hint of a green hue to it, but that's about it. Of course, I had a lot of bubbles from the Corvin. Sometimes wines, when you do the Corvin, sometimes you get a lot of bubbles when it's done. Sometimes not. I wonder if there's any type of like dissolved CO2 sometimes in these wines more than others, or it's just random how it works out. Okay, so lots of popcorn on this. Lots of corn burnt. Not like burnt bad, but like definitely heavily popped, if you want to put it that way. Green apple. A little bit of green pear. Well, pears are usually green, but you know, pear. But it to me, it's really dominated with that sulfurous smell from the corn, from the popcorn, and a touch of minerality. I'll say it's in there. Let's just get on the palate, see what it's like. All right, that sulfurous quality just disappears. So yes, lots of green apple, a little bit Jolly Rancher there. Not the little tiny ones, I think the flat ones, you know, those. Really mouth-watering. Like what was the TA on this? 6.95 pH 3.3. Yeah, I mean, mouth is really watering. It said 20% mallow. I believe it because it's the acid is more intense. Of course, pH 3.3 means it's going to be fairly intense. But yeah, it's really green. The corn is kind of gone. Yeah, the popcorn is like gone. I mean, yeah, there might be like a corn meal quality, but only because I'm like, where did the popcorn go? What happened to it? Like cornbread? Not quite. Not really. Yeah, it's really just it tastes really good. It's pretty much green apple and pretty much like just not quite oyster shell, not quite Chablis level, but minerality to it, kind of chalky. The green apple is really fresh, but it's tart. Like it's like you picked it right before it's like perfectly ripe, and you got that like nice little tart thing going on there. Right? A little bit of white flour, a touch of white flour going on there. Probably apple blossom if I had to come up with a flour. I was told one time, if you say a fruit is in there with like white wine, make sure to say that the flower is there too. So if it's orange, orange blossom. If it's apple, apple blossom. It's about getting points for the exam. Whether or not you really should do it or not, I don't know, but that's what I was told to do. So now that things are calming down a little bit, besides the apple, you got some orange, got some peach going on in there. Yeah, orange, peach, apple, green apple. There is a little bit of corn now. Now it's starting to kind of come in. I think it's just because I was kind of overwhelmed with the green apple. So a little bit of corn, popcorn. It's still it's popped. It's not burnt, but it's popped. But no butter. A little salt though, kind of a touch of salt. Yeah, it's pretty decent. This is definitely closer to the style of Chardonnay that I like in general. That no oak, clean, linear, lots of green apple. I kind of wish there was a little more line to it. But it is what it is. I mean, like let the wine speak for itself. Like, don't try to manipulate it into something else. Yeah, it's pretty decent. I like it. If you can find it, yeah, give it a shot. I'm interested to try anything else that they have going on. It's really evolving. And I think this is the good thing about doing my stuff at room temperature now, especially the white wines. Because it's really allowing some things to kind of open up once it's kind of hit the air. Whereas when it's cold or colder, chill, more like 55, 60 degrees, it may take a long time for this stuff to really kind of evoke some things. So there's a little more wax to it. Yeah. Peach is really coming through now. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, if you can find this, you should get it, man. All right. That's going to do it for today's show. If you enjoy what I'm doing here, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe and tell your friends. And we'll see you next time. Maybe with some other killer Argentine Chardonnay.